A lot of people like to say they don't have one mentor. Not that no one taught them anything, or that no one helped them along in life. Just that no one really stands out. A couple of years ago, that would have been me. I would have said, well, my mom, of course, or my dad, but that changed when I took my first forensics class. Professor Richard Petrensik became my mentor then. I didn't actually meet Professor Petrensik for the first 3 weeks of that class. He wasn't there. He was in Tennessee. More specifically, the University of Tennessee in Knoxville, at the body farm. You see, when people die and donate their bodies to science, that's one of the places they can go. They go to the body farm, where their body is either placed in clay or mud or not buried at all or in the trunk of a car wrapped in a garbage bag. They study decomposition, and my professor was there studying that. And so he came back and he had all these really gross pictures. I mean, bodies that just bloated and the melting and flies and all of that really nasty stuff that right now you're wishing I hadn't mentioned. But to me, it wasn't nasty at all. It was the coolest thing I had ever seen. And I decided then that forensics was where I wanted to go. More specifically, forensic anthropology. The study of human remains, of humans in general, just fascinates me. Learning how we tick, learning why we tick, just has always intrigued me. And Professor Petrensik understood that. So I'll actually never forget, I was in class and I'm sort of an eclectic fellow. I was presenting a paper I had written on anthropology, and he looked at me and he smiled and he said, "You'd make a really great serial killer." And that's not exactly a compliment when you think about it. I mean, my first forensics professor thought I would make a great serial killer, which is probably not a good thing, but coming from him, it was like, well, thank you, Professor P. It was that relationship with the man that you look at him and you think, I know he's calling me a serial killer, but I don't feel like it's a bad thing. He helped mentor me and guide me, and when I graduated from high school and needed a letter of recommendation to help get me into the University of Tennessee, he was there. He wrote that letter of recommendation, and I was accepted. Instead, I ended up going to the University of South Florida in their anthropology department. What matters is that when I needed it, Professor Petrensik was there for me to help me attain my goals. He's always been there to help me, and I'll always appreciate that.